So you want to run ads on YouTube, but you don't know where to begin, then this is the video for you. I'm going to give you the complete A to Z on how to launch your first YouTube ad and make sure it is wildly profitable. Now, it has always been my mission to give more away for free than others would have you pay for, and so if you stick around to the end of this video, I'm going to give you a video ad framework that's been used to generate millions for companies all over the globe. And you're getting this completely for free, guys. And finally, I do want to launch a giveaway on this video as well. Now, if you comment down below with your goals for running YouTube ads, I'm going to give one in every 100 people will randomly select someone to get a completely free coaching call with me. We'll break down your ad account and your business, and I'll tell you exactly what you need to do to make sure your YouTube ads are as profitable as possible. Now, finally, I do speak very quickly. I'm not going to apologize for that. I want to cram in as much value into this video as possible. So if you find me too quick to follow, there is a button somewhere on the YouTube settings, okay, where you can actually turn down the playback speed. So do that if that interests you. Finally, let's just get into it. So, YouTube ads training, let's get straight into it. But before we jump into how you can actually create some ads, let's go through some of the numbers because you need to understand how big of an opportunity YouTube advertising is right now. Now, YouTube has over 2 billion monthly active users and is the second most popular website in the world. Now, in the US alone, YouTube will make $5.5 billion in advertising revenue in 2021. And this one's the craziest. People watch over 1 billion hours of YouTube video content each day. So it's your duty to get yourselves on the start of each and every one of those videos, or however many you can, to your target audience. Now, 89% of video marketers plan to use YouTube in their 2021 video marketing strategy. And it goes without saying, YouTube is an incredibly lucrative platform and your customers are using it, best you believe it. So let's go through how we can create some ads. But first of all, let's understand the actual YouTube ad structure. How does it all work, right? So the first thing we have at the top is our Google Ads account, previously known as an AdWords account. So we need to create one of them first. We then, within that, have ad campaigns. We then have ad groups, keywords, ad creative, and finally our landing page where we're driving traffic through to. So let's break these down one by one. So the ad account, the Google ad account, is where you manage your Google and YouTube advertising account. Now, Google owns YouTube, hence why you run YouTube ads on the Google ad platform, similar to Facebook and Instagram. Facebook owns Instagram, and so when you want to create Instagram adverts, you just create them on the Facebook ad platform. Now, underneath our ad account, we have ad campaigns. This is the type of advert we're actually going to be running. So this could be a display ad or an in-stream ad, for example. We're going to break down each of these when we actually create one. We then have ad groups. So this is what type of audience we're actually targeting. We then have keywords. Now, keywords control where your ad is triggered within search queries. So we are targeting people based on what they are actually searching for on YouTube. We then have ad creative. Now, this is the video that will appear when your ad is triggered. So the actual creative, the visuals of your ad. And then finally, our landing page. So this is the destination where each ad will direct our audience to. So when somebody clicks on our ad, this is where they'll be brought to. So there are a whole different bunch of YouTube ad formats, and we're not going to go through all of these today because we simply don't have the most time. But we are going to go through two very, very important ones indeed. In fact, the most effective without a shadow of a doubt. But we have display ads. So these are the ads which essentially show next to the search results on YouTube. We've probably all seen these. We then have in-stream skippable ads. So these are ads that come up, or otherwise known as pre-roll ads, at the start of a video, and you can actually skip past them after a couple of seconds. We then have non-skippable ads. These are shorter ad formats which you can't skip. We have overlay ads, sponsored cards, and shoppable ads. But today we are going to be focusing on two of the most effective YouTube ads, definitely for beginners when you're first starting out, and that is in-stream skippable ads and non-skippable ads, but with a focus on skippable ads, which is, from my experience, from our digital marketing agency experience, where we get the most return on investment. Now, quickly, if you don't know me, my name is Jordan Platten. I own Affluent.co. We're a multi-service digital marketing agency in the UK, and we have literally generated millions in new revenue for companies all over the globe using Facebook ads, using YouTube ads, and a whole other bunch of other advertising platforms. So we really know what we're doing, and you're going to skip to the top of the pecking order by learning the strategies that we use with our agency for our clients. So let's jump straight on to Google Ads platform. Okay, so we want to go over to ads.google.com and we have the chance to create a Google Ads account. You will need a Google or an existing Google account. If not, you can just go ahead and create one. They are free. So I'm just going to sign in with an account that I don't actually use to advertise at the moment. And let's show you the back end of the Google Ads platform. Now I'm using the account that I don't actually use at the minute because I want this to look as similar to what yours is going to look like when you create an account as possible. So let me just move myself around so I'm not in the way. So now we're brought through to the Google Ads platform. At the moment, we're looking at the campaign page, which is where we will manage absolutely all of our individual ad campaigns. But we can start off on overview at the top here. And just get rid of this notice. So the overview is, well, pretty self-explanatory. It gives us an overview of our complete ad account and all of the ads that encompass it. So we can have a look at the overview of our clicks that we're getting. We can have a look at the impressions. We can look at all the information which is relevant to us. We can have a look at the CPC, which is cost per click, so cost to get somebody to click your ad. And then finally, how much money we're actually spending. And we can view that all on a nice graph here, and we can filter out relevant information to our company. We can then look at all of the campaigns we have running, what video ads we have, what demographics we are targeting and who we're reaching, and the devices they're using and the day and hour. So we can really break down a whole bunch of data just on the overview page here. And this is useful when you've got multiple ads running on your account or you just want to have a quick look. Now, we're going to go on campaigns, and we're going to come back to this later on when we've actually created a campaign, but this is where we're going to review the individual data of every single ad we create. But to create an ad, what we need to do is we need to either hit the plus button here or the plus button here. They both do the exact same thing. So we're going to create a new campaign. So the first thing we need to decide is what our goal is for our campaign. Now, these are pretty self-explanatory, but we can choose sales. So do we want direct sales from our website? Do we want to generate leads? Website traffic, brand consideration, brand awareness, app promotion, or local store visits. Now, as I said, they're pretty self-explanatory as to what they do, but what we are going to do is we're going to create a campaign without a goals guidance. So we are going to choose ourselves how we want this campaign to perform, what we want it to do. Now, this is something that maybe intermediate or advanced advertisers jump in with, but you're going to do this straight from the beginning, and it's going to mean your ads are going to perform better straight away. You're going to have a fuller understanding of what that means as well. Now, after we choose our goal, we get to choose what campaign type we want to launch. Now, a whole bunch of these are familiar Google ads if you've ever used them before. We have search ads, display ads, app ads, but we are going to create a custom video campaign. We then can choose the subtype. So do we want a custom video campaign, which is what we're going to do? Do we want a non-skippable in-stream ad, outstream? Do we want to drive conversion to ad sequence or shopping? You can play around with all of these, but I would recommend creating a custom video campaign if you want to create skippable in-stream ads, because it's going to give us much more flexibility over what we are trying to create. It's not going to lock away features for us and not give us access. So now we're brought through to the page where we can actually start beginning to create this ad, the ad group. So we want to name our ad first of all, so we're going to work top to bottom. So we're going to name this ad, let's say skippable ad 2. I saw there was one already on this ad account, so let's just create another one. So skippable ad 2, and let's say it's for Facebook ad video that I've got on my channel. So we then go down to the bidding strategy. Now, the way that any ad platform works is it works through an algorithm, okay? So all the advertisers have to bid to get themselves in front of their target audience. And if there are people competing over that same audience, then it goes down to who it puts the highest bid in. So you can choose your bidding strategy, how you want to jump yourself in on the algorithm. So you can either choose maximum CPV, which is cost per view, so the maximum amount we want to spend to reach one person, or you can choose target CPM, which is the cost to reach 1,000 people. So I can say, this is how much I want to spend to reach 1,000 people in my target audience. Now, from experience, maximum CPV works best, so choose that to start off with. We then have our budget and our dates. Now, you can choose a total budget. So if let's say you're running your ad for 7 days, you can say, I want to spend £50 over those 7 days. Or you can set a daily budget. I would recommend everybody starting off on a daily budget, again, because it gives you way more control over the actual ad campaign. Now, I would always recommend starting off on a minimum of $5 or £5 per day. If you can do £10 plus, then that's great. Because if you put anything lower than that, you're not going to give yourself a fair test, and you're probably not going to be able to get yourself in front of your audience because you'll be bidding too little. So let's start off, let's say on this one, with 10 a day. We then can start our start date. I want that to start today. And I don't want to set an end date, so this is going to run for as long as I want, and I can turn it off, but you can schedule an end date if you want to. I'm not going to do that. We then go down to our network. So this is where we can start to begin to choose where we want YouTube to actually show our ad. Now, I do not want to tick YouTube search results, because what that's going to do, it's going to create a display ad at the top of the newsfeed, which is very similar to a Google ad, which essentially is a search ad which puts us right at the top of the newsfeed. We're essentially skipping the hard work of SEO and we're paying to get ourselves at the top. We don't want to do that, right? Because we are creating a skippable in-stream ad, and from experience, they're going to perform best. We also want to untick video partners on the display network, because what this means is Google will show this video on other video-based platforms, and we want to target people just on the YouTube platform because we know that that's where the buyers are. You can try this out if you want to, but again, from experience, I'd like to keep this off. So we're just going to keep YouTube videos ticked there. We're then going to choose our location. So what area do we want to target people from? Now, I'm going to choose United Kingdom, but if you want to target another country, all you do is enter another location and type in, for example, the United States. If you're an e-commerce business and you ship worldwide, you could target the big five, which is the United States, the UK, Canada, Australia, and Ireland. Okay, there's probably a few others that you can chuck in there. But to start off with, that will give you a good amount to start with. So I'm going to do United Kingdom. I would not recommend doing all countries and territories, because what Google is going to do is it's going to throw your ad to the cheapest countries and territories as possible. And that does not mean that that's where the purchases are, okay? Normally that means you're going to get poorer quality traffic. So make sure you select countries. I would try and keep just one country per ad to start off with, because then you're going to have an accurate idea of what countries are working. But if you stack them up, that's absolutely fine, because you can still look at that data on the back end. We then have languages. Always select the language that your customers are speaking. And then we can move on to inventory. So inventory is where we can start excluding certain people. So we have expanded inventory, standard inventory, or limited inventory. So what this means is if there are videos on YouTube with swearing or explicit content, then YouTube will not show our ad on that content. I like to keep this expanded because in the majority of industries, it doesn't really matter what kind of videos they are watching on YouTube. If there's a video with a lot of swearing, they could still be one of my customers, okay? They might just have a potty mouth. So I'm gonna keep this expanded. Some people like to keep this standard, but I wouldn't really recommend you doing limited inventory unless you are a business targeting children or minors. So, which is the same thing. Compare inventory types if you want to. You can have a look at what all of these means, have a search and to see what's relevant to you, but I like to keep this expanded because it gives us a broader audience to target. So if I'm speaking so fast here, guys, I want to get through as much of this as I can for you. We then have exclude types and labels, so we can further exclude people, so we can exclude mature audiences, teen and older audiences. I like to keep all of this open to keep it broad, but I do like to get rid of embedded YouTube videos and live streaming videos. Now, an embedded YouTube video is just a YouTube video which is embedded on somebody else's website. Now, if you see an ad on there, you're probably going to skip it because you're watching that video for a specific reason. So I like to get rid of that. Live streaming videos, exactly the same reason. When people are watching a live stream, they don't want to be bombarded with ads, so they're just going to skip it. So let's just exclude it so we don't waste our budget on that. Then we can select related videos, so we can target or we can add videos which are similar to the ad that we're actually launching. I wouldn't really recommend playing around with that when you're first starting out. In fact, I haven't really had the chance to play around with that myself yet. So yeah, just skip related videos for now. Then we have our ad group. So we want to name this straight away. So our ad group is the actual audience we are targeting. So let's just name this something similar to our ad campaign. We want this to be a format that we recognize so we can pick out ads if we've got loads running. So it's a skip ad 2, this is a Facebook ad, and this could be social media lovers. Okay, we're going to target a social media based audience. So what people do we want to target? Let's start looking at their demographic. We can choose the gender, female, male, unknown, the age, or their parental status. Now, in the UK, we can't target people based on their household income, but in the US and other places, you can still do that. So if you have a business that requires you to do that, then you can target, like, let's say, the people who are in the top 10%, for example. I'm going to get rid of people who are 65 plus or unknown in my age, because I know in my audience, they're probably not people that are going to buy my products based off the data I have on my back end. We then have our audiences. Now, we can choose a whole bunch of different types of audiences. We can search for different audiences which are relevant us to start off with. So, for example, I could do social media. And we can see social media enthusiasts. We can see business professionals. We can see advertising and marketing audiences. I'm going to get rid of that for now. I'm just going to click on browse so we can have a look at what kind of breakdown we can get. So we can target people based on detailed demographics, so who they are. So their parental status, their education, their home ownership status, their employment status. People based on their interest, these are called affinity audiences. So this could be someone, let's say they're interested in beauty and wellness. We can have a look at is somebody who frequently visits salons, their food and dining habits. So have a little play around with these, whatever ones are relevant to you. What they're actively researching or planning, so these are called in-market audiences. So these are based on what people are actually searching for around the web. This is going to be pulled from data on Google and their data partners. And how they have interacted with your business. So these are remarketing audiences. So if we set up a Google Analytics code onto our website, we can target people based on whether they've viewed our page or bought our products in the past. And I would always recommend all businesses having an active remarketing strategy. And then finally, we have combined audiences. So let's say we've found audiences that are performing really, really well. We stack them all up into one combined audience, and there's a big bucket that we can use and we can be targeting. We do have custom audiences as well. We don't have time to break this down at the moment. If you want me to go into this, I can on a future video. But we can target people based on things that they're searching for on Google and a whole bunch of other fun stuff as well. But it's a little bit high end for a beginner video. So I'm just going to cancel that for now. And we're going to go to search. And if we wanted to, if I'm targeting people based on if they like Facebook ads, I might do social media. And I could target advertising and marketing services, for example. I'm not going to do that for now, though. I actually am going to do a keyword-based ad this time round. And I wouldn't recommend you stacking different audiences on the same ad. Now, what I mean by that is if you are going to create an ad based on keywords, so based on the terms that people are searching for, I wouldn't then use an affinity or an in-market audience as well, because what you're doing is just stacking up multiple different audience variants. I would always recommend you either doing keyword or doing an audience or a topic-based or a placement-based ad as a separate campaign. And that way you can break everything down individually and you can really understand what is working for you and what isn't working for you. If you're stacking up a whole different bunch of audiences, then it's going to get very, very messy and you're not necessarily going to know what is working and what isn't working for you. So if we go on keywords, we can target people based on the stuff they are searching on Google. So for me, that could be Facebook advertising. That could be Facebook advertising. And what we want to do is we want to put as many keywords as we can as possible which are relevant to the topic at hand. So we could also put that in enter your product or service here. And it's going to come up with a bunch of suggested ones. So we could do digital advertising, we could do brand advertising, maybe we can Google ad, social media advertising, digital marketing ad. And don't worry about adding too many keywords in here because we can look at the data after we've launched this ad, and I'll show you how to in a moment. And you can just get rid of keywords or add new ones as you go along. So let's close that. We then have topics. So this is similar to kind of affinity and in-market audiences. We can basically target people based on things they are interested in, the videos they're watching, the things they're searching for. So this is, let's say, for example, business and industrial. So this is basically the videos that they are watching on YouTube. So let's say they're watching an advertising and marketing video. It's marketing based. This audience or this topic, this will start showing our ads to everybody who is watching that kind of video at that moment in time. So if somebody's watching another Facebook ad, marketing-based video, the likelihood is they'll probably see my ad at the start of that. But again, I'm going to get rid of that. And if you are wanting to test out topics, then just make sure you split that out into your campaigns, as I said a moment ago. If you have any questions on anything I'm teaching you guys, by the way, just drop me down a comment below and I'll get back to you. I know some of this is a little bit high level, but I want to give away all of this, right? It's always been my mission to give more away for free than other people have you paid for. I've got no value in charging you for this information. So let's go through this. Let's just dive into this. This is everything that we know as a marketing agency on creating skippable in-stream ads. So placements. Placements is where we can select to target, let's say, our competitor's YouTube channel. If we want to put our videos on the front of one of our direct competitors' YouTube channels, we can hit channels here and we can search for them. So we could search for, let's say, for example, if you wanted to put your videos on top of mine, then you just search Jordan Platten, you tick that there and you can start targeting my channel. But don't you dare do that, guys. You can even target individual videos. You can target certain video categories, websites, apps, and app categories as well. So this is really great if you're trying to poach your customers or your competitors' customers. So play around with placements if that sounds like you. So that is the audience that we are looking to target. Now we're just doing keywords here, and now we get to select our bidding, okay? So how much do we want to spend to get a view? Now, the majority of skippable in-stream ads get between 2 and 6 pence or cents per view. But what a tactical marketer would do is they would put their maximum cost per view. So they'll say, I want to pay 10 cents, let's say, per view. And that enables us to bid higher than the majority of our competitors. That means that we can get the highest quality traffic on our ads. Now, what you'll notice happen is you'll very, very rarely spend 10 pence or 10 cents on a view. You'll actually get those lower cost per views, but sometimes you might get the higher ones, which is higher quality traffic. And over the next couple of days, as this ad is launching, or over the next couple of weeks, you can lower your maximum cost per view by a pence or a cent every single time. Or every day, and what you're then going to be able to do is drive your overall ad cost down over the course of a couple of weeks. So start off at around 10 cents. Then finally, we want to create our creative. So we want to select the actual ad that we are running. So we need to upload this to a YouTube channel. So you will need to have an active YouTube channel. If you don't have one uploaded already, you can just hit go to YouTube, upload. And it's going to take us straight through to YouTube Creator Studio. We hit select files and we can literally upload that straight to YouTube as an unlisted file, and we can then run it as an ad. Now I'm just going to search one at the moment, so let's just type in Jordan Platten and we'll just throw up one of my random videos, let's say the Facebook ads one, and we're going to create a skippable in-stream ad. You could do a video discovery ad, which again is what comes up when people are searching for it, so we want to skip to the top of the newsfeed, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to do skippable in-stream ad. Not newsfeed, sorry, search feed. We then want to select our target URLs. This is where we're going to drive traffic through to. I would recommend you doing HTTPS because that's going to give you an SSL certificate, mean your website is more secure. I'm going to do, let's do this to Learn Ads. Now, Learn Ads, by the way, guys, is our ad education business. If you want to learn anything about ads, we teach various platforms online. We're bringing out a whole bunch of courses, both light courses and pro courses. So check that out if you want to. And I'm just going to put the display URL as well. So this display URL is what the actual link that is shown on your ad, so how the link looks. We want to add a call to action, so this adds a button on the side of our ad. And let's say for us that could be download, or that could be sign up, for example. You can just do custom text in there as well. And we then want to put our headline. We only have 15 characters, it's pretty short. So we could do Facebook course, for example. Okay, if we're trying to promote a Facebook course. Then finally, if we want to, we can change the companion banner, which changes kind of a bit of the imagery around our ad, but we're not going to do that. We can just keep that to our channel. It's just going to make sure the branding is the same as our channel. So just keep that like that, and then we're going to change our ad to, let's say, Facebook ad 1. And there, we have created a YouTube advert, okay? It's very, very simple. This is literally suitable for anybody who's got any kind of business selling any kind of product or service. Trust me, the formula we've gone through today works really, really well. And just one thing that I forgot though is something that's actually pretty important is in additional settings, we have a whole bunch of other things that we can play around with. We can select our conversions. So if we're selling a product or a service, we want to get our Google Analytics code set up on our website, and we want to make sure that we can track when people are actually purchasing or signing up to our products or services. If you want to do that, you need to hit Tools and Settings and go on Conversions, and it'll run you through some very simple instructions of how you can set that up. We can also target people based on the devices they're using. We can exclude people on mobile, for example. But what I really wanted to show you here is the frequency capping. So we can set a cap on how many times our potential audience are actually seeing our ads. And I like to set a cap impression frequency of 1 per day. So what this means is we won't show somebody or the same person our ad more than once per day. Any more than that, and they're probably not really paying much attention, we might be wasting a bit of budget. But every day we could be reminding them, and they could be like, hang on, I saw that ad yesterday, and it spikes their interest. So this is a bit of a cost-saving hack for you guys. Set your your cap impression frequency to 1 per day. You can set a view frequency as well, but I like to keep with cap impression frequency. Final thing we can do is add schedule, so we can actually, if our product or service is only relevant to a certain time of the day, we can set our ads only run during that time of the day. So that's it for little hints and tips. If you do not have a creative already for your ad, if you haven't created an ad before, I've got something for you that's probably going to spike your interest. So I want to thank the sponsor of this video, InVideo, which is a web-based online video editing software. And trust me, this thing has saved my ass more times than I can remember for so many of our clients. If you don't have a YouTube ad created and you don't have any video experience, this is the place for you to begin. You can create an ad literally in under 10 minutes, and it's very, very easy to use. Now, if you want to go to InVideo.io, you can create a completely free trial for 7 days, or you can click the link in the description and use the code JordanP25 to get 25% off all of their premium plans. Now, once you log in, you get access to a whole bunch, of literally thousands and thousands of templates, and they upload hundreds and hundreds of more every single month. So there literally is nothing which doesn't hit your niche. If you want to search for something at the top, we can hit this search bar, and we can go on book. Let's say, for example, if we have a book that we want to advertise, and we've got a whole bunch of different templates which are relevant to us, and all we need to do is hover over it to actually see what is going on with that. So I'm going to get rid of this search. I'm going to go back over to the home page. And we can also choose these templates based on whether they're wide, they're square, they're vertical, depending on what platform we're using, but we're using YouTube, so we're going to go on wide. And we can scroll through some of these templates to find something which is relevant to us and see what we've got here. Okay, I'm going to go on online coding test, okay? So let's go on this here. We can watch a preview of this. We can watch with sound as well. I'm going to turn that off. We can see what it would look like in wide, square, and vertical. You can see it's a really dynamic, interactive ad. All we need to do is hit use this template, and it's going to load up the editor. We don't need to download anything, and it works completely drag and drop, similar to if any of you guys have used Canva before, which I'm sure you have. So let me just make myself a little bit smaller here. Let's move myself into somewhere more convenient. Now, if we go through this here, we can literally edit all of this text as soon as it all loads. My internet's been a little bit slow today. All we need to do is hover over this, and we can literally edit everything out. Okay, so it's really, really easy to use. We have our toolbar on the left-hand side. We can drag and drop things in, so we can upload, let's say, images, for example, or other media. We can upload new videos, and we have access to thousands and thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of stock images and videos. And this alone costs hundreds and hundreds on a yearly basis, but you get access to it completely for free when you sign up to InVideo, which I think is pretty ridiculous. We're going to have music, we have text, we have logos, and we can edit pretty much anything to do with what is on our screen right now on the right-hand side. So if we want to edit this piece of text here, for example, we can just double-click that, and here we have all of our formatting things at the top. So we can change the font, we can click the drop-down, and we can scroll through a whole bunch of different fonts that we can use in the software. Cool. We have our timeline at the bottom, very similar to any other video editing software, so we can edit our transitions, we can get rid of sections, and if we want to create a really short ad, let's say we want an ad which is under 15 seconds, then we can use this as a non-skippable in-stream ad. So the difference between non-skippable and skippable is simply the length, okay, and whether or not you can skip it. So a non-skippable ad has to be under 15 seconds, so we need to get all of our information compact into that time. And InVideo is great for creating those because it can give us that creative freedom without having to worry about how we're going to condense down all our information, because we can get lots of information on text, okay? So if we want to publish this video, all we need to do is hit download and share, and it's simply going to format and render this video for us, and we can export it straight from the web. It really is as simple as that. Let me just go back over to the homepage of InVideo. Now, what my favorite thing is about InVideo is not even the video editing capabilities, it's actually the support that they provide. They cannot do enough for you. There's literally 24/7 support. When you're logged in, you can hit the button down the bottom here and you can ask them absolutely anything. There's a private Facebook group, which I'm actually part of, and sometimes I engage in there as well. And of course, they have a YouTube channel with a whole bunch of different tutorials to literally teach you every single element of how to use the tool. In fact, I will put a link somewhere around here. I'll put a card, okay? And you can watch a video on how to start using InVideo and why it is the best video editing tool in 2021, but don't you go watch that now, go watch it after you're watching this YouTube ad tutorial. So if you want to sign up to InVideo, click the link in the description and use the code JordanP25 for 25% off all of their pro plans. That makes the business plan $135 per year, which is absolutely ridiculous considering what you get access to, and they're a completely unlimited plan for $270. So go click link in the description, let's get back to the training. Okay, I hope that was useful. So now we have everything we need to launch this ad, and you can click the lovely create campaign button here. The final thing you might notice is the estimated performance stats on the right hand side. Now, to be honest, if you ever used Facebook ads before, you'll notice we have a similar thing. These are not that accurate, so take it all with a pinch of salt, but it does give us a little bit of an idea of what this or how this ad is going to perform. We can see the size of the audience here as well. But yeah, take this with a pinch of salt. It's not always wholly accurate. It's based on other people's ads and the algorithm. So let's launch this ad. Hit create campaign. Continue to campaign, and we are brought through to the ad groups side of Google Ad Manager. And this is where we can start looking at the data of our ad. The first thing that's going to happen is this ad is actually going to go into review. So if we go on ads and we can see pending under review, this ad isn't going to start running straight away. It can take up to 24 hours, sometimes even 48 hours for this ad to be approved, so Google know you're not breaking any of their terms. But on ads, ad groups, or the campaign side, we can view all of our data on this ad once it starts running. We can edit things really quickly as well. We can change the maximum cost per view here, like I said. And we can look at the views, the impression, the view rate, the cost, the conversions, the conversion value, and a whole bunch of other stats. So if we want to look at other stuff, we can go on columns, we can do modify columns, and we can have a look at whatever data is relevant to us. So our average cost per click, our average CPM, which is cost to reach 1,000 people, how many people have engaged with it, what the interaction rate is. Play around with this and make sure you are viewing the data that is relevant to you and your business. Again, we don't have the time to go through all of that right now. If you want me to in the future, we can do that. But what I wanted to show you is keywords. So we created a keyword-based ad here. And if we click keywords, we can see all of the keywords we created and the individual data for each of those keywords. So we can very quickly understand what is working and what isn't working for us. If we want to turn off a keyword that isn't performing very well, we can pause it or remove it. I'd recommend pausing it so you can bring it back at another point. And I wouldn't really recommend you doing or adapting or changing any of these keywords until you've had this ad running for 2 to 3 days to give it a fair chance to spend enough money to actually know whether they're working or not. If you want to add a new one, you can hit the plus button here and we can just click our ad group and we can search for any more keywords and add them to this ad campaign. And finally, if we go over to settings, if we want to change anything in here, like our budget, we can do that straight from here, and we can change like our networks and pretty much edit the entire ad even after it is launched. Now, if you want to edit anything else, like placements, demographics, audience, keywords, landing pages, videos, it's all on the navigation bar on the left-hand side. It's pretty self-explanatory. Have a play around with it. We don't have the time to go through all of that today, but that is how you can launch your first ever YouTube skippable in-stream ad. Now, I know I told you guys if you stick around to the end of this video, I would be giving you an exclusive access essentially to a document which has literally generated millions for so many companies, including myself. It is a framework for a YouTube ad. If you have a company that has a product or service which is relevant to doing some face-to-camera work, you can speak to the camera and become an authority in your niche, then I have the perfect ad framework for you, and I'm gonna give it to you completely for free. This is something I literally used to hold back for our marketing agency clients. Now, I've hidden this in the description of the video, very sneaky. So go right to the bottom and in there is a link. It will say framework, it will say video ad framework. Click that link and you'll be able to access that and follow that, and believe me, it works seriously well. So guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Make sure you enter the competition as well and smash the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.